Hi there, and welcome to another playlist of mine. The adventures of the Centaur Hunter are over. It's time for something new, and for this game I've decided to go for a Formicid because I felt like some more interesting race with more drawbacks and more racial features than the other ones I played before. And for this game we're gonna go for an Abyssal Knight, because, well, I feel it's one of the most viable options to go for as a Formicid if you want to have a game that's more easily winnable. In fact, that is. So we're gonna get right in there, start out with an axe, and as an Abyssal Knight we start out in the Abyss, which is a bit scary, yet still we're starting with the skill to depart the Abyss at will. And let's check out what it means to be a Formicid. First off, we can't be hasted, slowed, berserked, paralyzed, or teleported. This is a bit of a double-edged sword. It's really nice to not be able to get paralyzed, but it's not that nice to be not able to teleport. So this is a quirk which has its up and down sides in all respects, but it's way more a downside than an upside. We can dig through walls and shaft us to a lower floor. The digging comes in really handy because we have that from beginning on, and that's one of the most interesting features of a Formicid. We can wield two-handed weapons while wielding a shield. That's something which is really fun to play once you get it running, but you will need some solid skill levels to get there, because without a good skill level on your weaponry, the two-handed weapon will be, well, a slow one, and you will get more problems out of it than you're getting advantages out of it if you're rushing too early into a two-handed weapon. And also we can see invisible, and we can detect monsters from afar. This mutation, though, blocks our helmet slot completely, which means we can't even wear hats. That's a bit obnoxious. That's one more downside of Formicid. So that's the basics about being a Formicid here. And starting out with the Abyss, I really like to wander around a bit and see if I can find anything useful down here, because potentially here in the Abyss everything can appear. And there's an unidentified scroll. I'm gonna pick that up, and I keep roaming until something spooky shows up, and then I'm gonna leave immediately as soon as something too spooky enters my line of sight. There's a buckler, so we're having a shield from scratch on. That's really interesting and useful. So I'm gonna drop the dodging for now and level up the shields. We're gonna stay on this skill setting. It's a bit widespread, but it's very useful. I need to get the invocations up to have a solid chance of banishing monsters later on, and there's a large abomination. This one will kill me for sure with one hit. So I'm gonna depart. We got a scroll and an axe, a buckler, which is a good start to begin the game with. So there is a goblin. I don't think that's much of a problem here. So dungeon 1 should be pretty easy, as long as I don't run into something too spooky, which happens to be out of depth here. Talking about the good old menace of a halberd and all early on. But also very dangerous. Sometimes on dungeon 1 can be kobolds or goblins or hobgoblins with especially dangerous branded weapons. That happens as well. I had a game where I met a kobold with an electrocution dagger, and he just took all my 19 hit points with one go back there. That can happen on D1. That's a bit harsh if it happens, so keep an eye out for blue shimmering weapons out here. It's really life-saving if you see what's in the hands of the enemy here. And here we can see that there's an enemy behind this wall. And this trait is really useful since we can't teleport, we can't run away like other characters can. And being able to notice stuff before it enters my line of sight is very, very, very nice. So let's check. Other races need a skill level of 4 to have the encumbrance of a buckler removed. As a Formicid we only need 2.4 points. That's also a very interesting, unique feature of the Formicid. Something to keep in mind, because Formicids can use large shields without any penalty with a skill level of 15. That's usually the skill level where other races can only wield normal shields with no encumbrance. So there we go. That's Dungeon 1 done. And off to Dungeon 2 we go. I'm gonna be more and more careful here, because Dungeon 2 can inhabit the first uniques. And if we happen to meet Ic0n or Grinder down here, it can get a bit difficult to run away. So I'm keeping an eye out for these, and well, if needed, I'm gonna shaft myself. And I can try out these scrolls without standing on a staircase here, because I can't teleport, so the teleport scroll is no danger for me. No random teleportations for this character. So there's an altar. Looks like Dith. All the smoke and shadow stuff should be Dith Manus. So there's a huge pack of enemies here, and I didn't check out if there was better armor yet, but no. So the leather armor is nothing I want to stick to too long, and since we already identified magic mapping scrolls, I'm not hesitant of trying out everything I find when I find it, because it's only the magic mapping and the teleportation scrolls why I keep why I keep reading those only when I'm standing on an up staircase. And there's Robin, and that's pretty dangerous actually, so I'm gonna dig through this wall and try to break the line of sight with Robin a bit, and this is not cool. I'd really like to pick up this scroll, but I don't dare to, because I'm already at 50% of my HP here. I'm gonna bring up the Hobgoblin though. Robin is not too dangerous, it's more the accompanying guys on him which are the major threat here. So I think since he's not wearing any branded weapon, I should be able to take him down here. There we go. He's wearing a shiny helmet, and that's a time to be sad being a Formicid. This would have been a magic helmet. And here the digging really worked out very well for us, because we would have had to take this long way, and Robin can toss allies after you and cut off your way of fleeing, which can really get very, very dangerous in situations like these. Combined with a might buff on his allies, which leads to 50% damage increase, we got off lucky here. This could have been way more dangerous. No branded weapons on the enemies. That was very helpful here. So we're close to get rid of the encumbrance of our buckler, and I think that's the point where I'm going to drop training of shields for now. And there's a first adder. We have no curing potions on ourselves, but we're not able to outrun it either. So we're going to take a few swings carefully, and luckily 2 hits later it's down. We didn't miss a single time, but that's more luck than everything else. So I found my first scroll of immolation. There are no auto pickup scrolls. I'm going to change that because I really think they're useful. And there's the next adder, and yeah, needed 2 swings more than the last one, but we took it down pretty decently. The first adders are always a bit dangerous and a bit careful to take. Glowing whip. So we're carrying around 2 branded maces and flails here, but I don't dare to equip them right now, mainly because I have no remove curse on me, and these can be just really bad minus something items. I don't want to have a very bad weapon if I'm relying on melee to win the game. This could easily watch up my run pretty hard here, so we gotta be patient. And there's Ic0n. Like I said, sometimes he appears on D2, and actually I'm gonna shaft myself here, because running from this guy while he can shoot me with all his spells and has the chance to confuse me while I'm only carrying around only 1 unidentified potion, I feel a bit too endangered here, so I'm gonna take flight for now. Come back later. Ic0n is not that dangerous, but on D2 he is very dangerous. If you meet him down there at D5 or D6, you will notice that his average damage output is not that high. That's mainly because he always appears with a scythe, which needs a very high skill level to swing it quickly. And luckily, Ic0n doesn't have that. He has only those debilitating spells and invisibility at his disposal, some ranged spells, which are certainly strong enough to bring low-level characters into danger, but as soon as you have enough hit points at your disposal, this guy tends to be very easy to kill. But right now we're avoiding him as hard as we can. So we're finding some suits of heavier armor here. This adder was a bit more aggressive than the last ones. And since I'm still not having some curing potion, I keep being cautious with the poisonous enemies. Because if I get lethally poisoned, I can only randomly try out my potions I'm carrying around and hope for some healing effect. But it might be as well that I'm carrying around a potion of mutation and a potion of degeneration, and that wouldn't help me too much. So D3, pretty doable here, and we're done. So I'm gonna carefully stick my head out into D2 again. I do know where I met Ic0n, although he was awake, which means he will keep wandering up through this level. Yet still, I can repeat this shaft trick again if I need to, so I won't lose anything if I shaft myself down again. So I'm pretty confident with exploring this area a bit more, because I had to leave a bit too early for my taste, and having the ability to escape on an explored floor below feels pretty safe for me. So let's keep exploring. Okay, we're getting closer to the vicinity where we met Ic0n the last time, so I think around here the danger is pretty high to meet him. But we're done exploring with this floor, so I can easily go downstairs and let Ic0n be Ic0n. So there's a hiss of flowing sand, which means we will find an ossuary down here, which will provide us with a decent stack of resources for the beginning. And luckily we outright run into it, but this orc pack is scaring me a bit, because I don't know if there is a priest around. So I'm kiting back this... oh boy. So we're gonna dig over this corner, and let's see if I can escape from these. This orc wizard is hasted and is shooting me with a lot of magic darts, and I really feel uncomfortable with the situation. So I need to shaft on this and fall down 3 floors. That means bye-bye for my ossuary here. And we immediately run into a situation which is way worse than the last one, and we're getting shafted way too deep here. We're at D9 here at XL5. That's very, very spooky. That's Formicid things. So I want to avoid every single fight as much as I can, but these killer bees are having another opinion on that, and I don't think I can kill these either, so let's keep shafting. D10 now. That's really no spot where I want to be, so I keep fleeing upstairs again. So there's an ogre, but we can leave him behind, luckily. So we're at D8 now, and I keep carefully stepping around here. And as soon as I detect any enemies with my passive radar here, I think I'm gonna retreat a bit if needed. So there we go, 3 potions of mutation in my stash. Just like I called it. Scroll of enchant weapon, that's useful, yet still gonna put it on my hand axe. There's enemies around here. Rather avoid them. I don't know what it's gonna be, and it could be certain death. Right now I need to find another upstairs and return back up. There's a hound. I think I can kill that. Should be doable for me here. Okay, there we go. So our shields are done. I don't need more shield training here. So I think I'm gonna pick up some more dodging for now. Or, nah, I'm gonna turn it like that. Focus on the important stuff. Okay, I don't want to spread out my skill levels too much. So, still no upstairs visible here. And we're covering up some ground at this level. I'm a bit sad that I lost the opportunity to bring down the ossuary, and there goes the scroll of remove curse, a whip of electrocution, and a cursed mace. That's a bit unlucky, but I really wanted to check out both. So we're gonna pick up this whip of electrocution, which is a very, very decent weapon here. Way better than the hand axe I'm wielding. And there's another big bunch of enemies, probably some orcs, I think. So we keep avoiding these and get the upstairs to D7, and we got flamed by this orc wizard. So I'm stair dancing this situation a bit, because right behind this orc wizard is an upstairs, which I want to take. And as tempting all this loot might be, oh yeah, we're gonna run across it. So we got confused here in a very, very uncomfortable situation. And we have the mutation potions ruled out, yet still I feel like I'm not capable of dealing with this situation properly. So we don't have too many options here. I'm gonna try if I can kill this orc wizard though. I'm gonna wait one more hit before I try out randomly potions. So we got the wizard down, which is really good. Yet still, there's this ogre in our way, and I don't know how to kill him right now. So that's another really nice thing about being a Ic0n follower. I get the ability to blink, even though normally as a Formicid that's a no-no. So we're going this way. Luckily we only got the orc behind us. That really saved our lives here. And I don't want to take this upstairs again. Standing right beside two ogre is really, really scary, so let's instead pick up this upstairs. But before I'm going to do that, I'm going to check what's lurking there. So we met some ogres there, but I think I should be able to take them down with the whip I'm carrying around. So we're going to divide this fight a bit. There's a priest standing behind these, but he didn't smite me, so we got lucky here. And slowly we're getting closer to the areas where we want to be. And that's really relieving me some. So there's a new scroll, which was a scroll of noise. Let's see if we attracted something. There's another ogre. And I'm carrying around the scroll of remove curse, so I can try out this ring, which is a ring of positive energy. Not too useful for me here, but there's a pair of gloves. I'm gonna wear these. Some more armor class will help me here. This orc is wielding a mace of protection, so that's not dangerous. And yeah, I'm really sad I missed out this ossuary. Would have helped me a lot, but it's not the end of the world not having it. So there's another priest, but I think with this whip I'm able to kill them all. I'm really happy I found this whip of electrocution, because it means I've got access to one of the strongest brands you can get in early game. So there's a hungry ghost, but I'm carrying around a lot of chunks, and these hungry ghosts only deal damage to your satiation. They're not dealing too much real physical damage. And with this bunch of chunks, his hunger damage wasn't too dangerous. Also carrying around enough armor food. So yeah, that's Formicid stuff. Shaft down into certain death and somehow escape. It's really challenging, yet still, I think I would have been dead if I was no follower of Ic0n. Without the blink with this ogre situation, I don't see any chance of escaping there without getting smashed by this guy. So maybe I would have been able to escape with some digging action, but I'm not too sure about that. I want to check. I dig with 1.2 steps per turn, so I'm slow if I dig. There goes a phantom. And these 1.2 turns per step while digging mean that this ogre could have been smashing me while I'm digging towards safety, and I only had 13 HP left. So yeah, I think Ic0n saved my bacon here. So we're getting another message that we missed out the ossuary. No need to rub it in my face any further, Crawl. It's hurting enough already. But we should be okay. I'm really more sad about the bunch of XP than about the resources. Resources can respawn. So, finally at D4. Finally I can move freely again because I can kill everything which happens to spawn around here. So, more orcs. It all started out with orcs. The whole trouble started with orcs. So there we go. Hiding around this corner works out really well against these wizards. And off we go. More orcs. A lot of orcs this run. And they're accompanied by an ogre. But let's try if I can take him out. The first hit was really devastating for him. Second one was not so much. But we got him down pretty easily here. Still, I'm going to be very careful around these ogres until I have a higher hit point pool. So a new ring, let's try it out. Resist corrosion. That's something I want to keep on. It's more useful than the flying ring. So that's this area, and there's another ogre. Carefully taking my swings, 2 hits and he's dead. The electrocution brand does some good work here, providing a lot of safety with these hard-hitting enemies. So D4 is done. Let's go for D5. I've explored a lot of that while searching the upstairs. There's a worker ant, also poisonous enemy, quick enemy, so still lacking curing potions. But let's ID, and we have might potions. That's really cool. We found a wand of enslavement that can come in handy as well from time to time. And some more recharge scrolls. Yet still I'm not carrying around any wands. I'm too eager of recharging yet. Iguana, new potion. So, an amulet. I don't want to put this up because it could be an amulet of harm. I don't want to take these unidentified. Our first Crimson Imp, which gets whipped down pretty quickly. D5 done. Off to D6 we go, and it's a bit weird to have all this stuff already pre-explored from my shafting adventures here, but it's not too bad. Really not too bad. So another bunch of orcs accompanied by an ant. I'm gonna take this fight a bit more close to the upstairs because I really want to be able to flee as soon as this priest shows up. So we're going upstairs with this ant because I don't want to get smitten and poisoned. Speaking of getting poisoned, this orc was wielding a venom branded dagger and a wand of confusion that might come in handy too. So we're getting our first wands here. An ice beast, they pack quite a punch too. And another ant. So I'm gonna divide this fight again, because this ice beast can do a lot of damage to me potentially, which it didn't luckily. And like I said before, no poison removal means I'm gonna take these situations more careful. And this ogre took in 2 really big swings on me, so I'm gonna flee, heal up, and come back to kill him this time hopefully. So as easy as the first 2 ogres were, this guy really killed us halfway 2 times. So let's see, he's wielding an enchanted flail. And there's another ogre. Picking up more strength for now, because I really want to be able to wear the heaviest armors I can get for this guy. So I'm having enough HP to take this fight, I think. I'm also carrying around a potion of heal wounds if stuff gets really ugly, but I'd like to avoid that, to use it on an ogre. They're really easy to avoid, and there's a food shop, I don't need that. Centaur. Ogres are really easy to avoid in terms of kiting, so it's always, if it's my only heal wounds potion. I'm a bit reluctant to use it on an ogre. A rendered scale now. I'm gonna buy this and try it out. +4 resistance to fire, intelligence +3. That's one more armor class bonus and a bit more evasion. That's good armor for now. And it also has a shiny golden color. It's not only protective but also stylish. So there's a teleport trap. These are really well, it always feels good for me if I run into teleport traps as a Formicid, because I can just step into that and be like, well, I'm not interested in teleporting. No danger here. So null pack combined with ogres, though, that's something I'm respecting. And I got catch into a net. Nets disable your shield bonus, which can get scary. That's why I wanted to kite this situation out. Worked out pretty fine, carrying around 1 ID more, and finally we got our curing potions identified. Ain't that nice? Was about time. There's the temple. I don't need this temple, I just entered it to have it marked on my exploration score. It's a completionist thing. So another ogre. I feel like I'm running into a load of ogres in this run, and so far we killed 6 of them. That's 1 ogre per floor. So I hope there's not gonna be a 2-headed one showing up too soon. Would fit the theme though. So more null. These are not much of a problem with the electrocution branded whip we're carrying around here. So I'm really interested in going for some stronger mace for now, because I have a good mace and training these looks pretty reasonable. There is a book of battle. Okay, so it's filled with really handy spells. And I'm gonna learn the Shroud of Galubria and the regeneration. Somehow I feel like it would be viable to switch over to less heavy armor for that, to learn some spellcasting to a decent level. Yet still, we're gonna see how this works out, if I gonna be a spellcaster or not. But the Book of Battle is the starting book of Skulls. This Hippogriff I'm really taking seriously. It's D7, that's a bit early for a Hippogriff, but we're set. The Book of Battle is really good if you're a melee combatant, because these spells really buff up your performance a lot. So there's a first scroll of summoning, and we're going into this vault with it. Helps me a bit against these guys. This vault is not too dangerous, but these hogs are quick, so if you start losing you won't be able to run away from them. That's a bit obnoxious, and I'm taking in a lot of damage here, and without the electrocution branded weapon this would have been pretty ugly. But we're picking up the permafood this vault provides, and I'm happy with the experience it brought me. Another hound. I'm slowly noticing that this whip is getting outdated in terms of base damage. So there's a glowing mace. I have a lot of remove curse scrolls. It's another mace of protection. I already found one of these. These protection branded weapons I prefer for pure spellcasters, which don't rely too much on their weapon damage. But if you're relying on your weapon damage, it's more of a downgrade to wield some of these. I mean, it's a bunch of extra armor class for you, but armor class doesn't do nothing when you're not able to kill your enemy. You will die eventually if you're not dishing out enough damage in a proper amount of time. So that's why I don't like these when I'm relying on melee damage. We got more identification scrolls. It's an amulet of magic regeneration. That's actually nothing I need. So we keep identifying some potions. That's lignification, so if I'm gonna run into this killer bee pack again, it's gonna help me a lot. And there's Pico, accompanied by a unseen horror. So I'm gonna kite this back. The slaves don't yield any experience, and gonna be freed as soon as Pikel dies. So I'm not too sure. I wanna know what kind of weapon he has. It's a whip of freezing. It's It's actually not too scary. And I think I'm gonna leave this floor because these slaves are pretty resilient. And since they're not giving anything apart from some guilty conscience, we're gonna try to take out Ic0n from another angle and see if this works out better for us. So there's a Crimson Imp. That's absolutely no problem. Because Ic0n and his squad is pretty easy to kite. Normally, that is. If you're not running into anything super quick cutting your way, it's really easy to avoid this fight. Speaking of super quick cutting your way, there's the Unseen Horror. And these guys aren't that dangerous if you're able to see them, because they're permanently invisible. But luckily, as a Formicid, we have those freaky antennae and we can sense them with our spider senses, or ant senses, whatever. So there's this Ic0n situation again, and I'm pretty far away from the next up staircase, so I'm gonna try out how this fight works out. It's pretty good. I'm a bit reluctant to use my might potion because I think I can kill this guy without it. I'm sitting on a good armor class here for this level, and yeah, almost took no damage out of that. The Whip of Freezing is not better than the Whip of Electrocution because Freezing Brand calculates its damage out of the base damage of your weapon, while Electrocution Brand is just the same flat amount of damage every time you swing it. And there's Ic0n. She has a very high chance of confusing and slowing us, and she has some pretty dangerous spells at her disposal as well. But on the other hand, she's fairly vulnerable, so I'm gonna put up my might potion, wait until she gets around the corner, and take a few hearty swings on her, and I really think I'm able to kill her pretty decently. Yep, I was right. So the Scimitar of Flaming is pretty interesting. It's a +3 weapon, and I think for now I'm gonna switch over to Long Blades and use this a bit, because the Scimitar has base damage of 11, while our Electrocution Whip only has a base damage of 6. That's quite a difference, and I feel like I will do a lot more damage with this Scimitar. Yet still, I'm not too sure if this is a bad decision after all. Because I'm already sitting at a pretty decent skill level for Long Blades, that is. But we're not seeing any better weaponry here, so this is the best weapon I can get for now. And as a melee fighter, I tend to pick up the best stuff I can get and start learning it along the way. So there's another Ogre. And I will make my final decision on weaponry as soon as I find my first really good item. So there's a Lamp of Fire. That is a good item. There we go. Dungeon 9. Back there. Feels good to be here and to be able to kill everything that runs across and not running around like a scared chicken. So there's a first Sky Beast. These are immune to electricity, so it's really good to have an alternative weapon to that, because with the Whip this would have taken quite a long while here. So there's the B pack from the last time. So I think I'm gonna dig here. Oh, so that didn't work out as intended. So we're gonna do this like that, lignify into that and start chopping, and hopefully hit them along the way. Killer bees have a lot of evasion rating and a very strong poison attack, and lignification potions provide you a ton of armor class and immunity to poison, so these are basically my anti-bee potions for the early game. But they have some more interesting uses along the way. It's a wand of scatter shot, I'm not too fond of these. So we're going downstairs here, D10 now. And there's a first yak pack. And let's see how this will work out. But judging from the looks of it, we should be able to take these down pretty decently. Yet still I'm taking some damage here, but not too much. We're gonna flee upstairs to heal up. Don't want to mess around with these wolves. with only 50% of my HP, because where there's one wolf. So there is a Rude Longsword, which is a longsword of Holy Wrath, and that's two good longblade options for us right now, because a longsword of Holy Wrath is very handy. And this looks like some kind of vault here, judging from all these enemies lined up together. And there's a first white pack. So this guy is carrying around the first great sword, and it looks like we're focusing on long blades if stuff keeps working out like that. I'm gonna kite around this corner so I don't need to fight two at once. And this white is carrying around a halberd. It's only an enchanted one, so I don't need that. Second potion of heal wounds. That's always nice to have more than one of those. Makes me feel a lot safer to use one of them. So there's another yak pack. I'm gonna step around this corner. I think I'm gonna focus long blades for now a bit to catch up the missing skill points here, because right now we're swinging at 1.3 turns per attack. And there's a first orc warrior. So these guys are really high damage dealers, so I'm gonna lightning him, and maybe we're lucky and are able to confuse him. Let's try that. So he's wearing plate armor, which is very dangerous because he's hard to kill as long as he's not confused or something like that, and this glaive really dishes out a lot of damage, so I think confusing him was the safest option I could take here. So there we go. And let's open this. It's an undead vault. Okay, that's not too scary. It's only one enemy per door. An altar of the red. That's nothing we need. A wraith. These are getting more and more dangerous, but wraiths are for a Formicid no problem at all, because you can't get slowed by them. Other races can, but not we. Not us, that is. So, another bunch of bees. I'm going right here and lignify into that again, because I still have some of those and I already took some damage, so let's take it safely. I have one more left. So for the next situation with these, I gotta be more careful because it's gonna be my last lignification potion. But for now, I think it was a safe decision to survive this fight more easily. So there's an end. I've got Banishing available by now. I can corrupt a floor, and I can enter the Abyss at will. So my Lugonu skill set is pretty complete here, and we found the entrance to the lair. Ain't that nice? So there's a first troll. Not too dangerous though. Another orc pack, and a first two-headed ogre. Fits the theme, huh? So I'm gonna toss my Lamp of Fire to this guy, because it'll create a bunch of fiery clouds, which help a lot against this dude. He burned mainly, so we weren't too reliant on our successful melee hits on him. And that's why I really like these items. It's inert now, but it's gonna recharge with more experience along the way. That's Broadaxe, that's also a very interesting item, but I've decided to go Longblades for this run. Because Longblades, combined with the Book of Battle I have, should be a very interesting combination here. Yep. So there's a Scroll of ID. Let's ID some more potions. It's a Potion of Agility. These are especially useful with Longblades, because the riposting effect comes to trigger every time when an enemy misses an attack on you. And agility increases your dexterity and your evasion logically from that. And so agility potions for a Longblade user are kind of like also damage increasing items, which is pretty interesting. So there's a book of conjurations, but I'm not into spells for direct damage. I'm using weaponry for direct damage, not spells. So D10 done, and we're sitting at the entrance to the lair, and I'm gonna go to the staircase now and call this episode finished for now. I'm working for this playlist for more videos between 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm trying to avoid the lengthy ones, which are up to an hour, because I feel like this is more easy to watch. And from time to time there will be longer episodes for certain danger situations I want to play in one go. But for now, that's episode 1 of our Formicid Abyssal Night, and I hope you enjoyed this game so far, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next episode. See you soon, guys!